Notice, guys, I usually put in Savage Underground. I took the Savage Underground out due to the nature of what's just going on here in the nation, of what has unfolded in the course of 48 hours already now, going into, you know, uh, 64 hours into almost 3 days. So, a lot to talk about tonight and a lot to discuss. Obviously, the title emergency broadcast, aftermath of yesterday's horrific event in Pennsylvania. So up there in Butler, Pennsylvania. Thoughts before we start, Croc, and on the losing end. Anything you guys want to weigh in? I'll give you guys the floor.
Give losing in, go ahead. I want to post something about that. It happened at 6:11 yesterday, so it's just over 24 hours right now.
No, I don't have much. I just saw that this was going on. Wanted to jump in. I'm actually running to the Piggly Wiggly, and just ready to be a part of the discussion if necessary.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And guys, just want to let you know that this space is I want it to be serious, but I want the humor and I want everything else to be voided tonight, because our nation is in very, very troubling times. I do believe that it needs to be healed, and a lot of what we've seen just yesterday in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of answers, and people deserve to get those answers, and people are still in shock um, by the event of yesterday's action. So I want to pause there and bring it over to Croc, because I think Croc, you have something that you wanted to weigh in.
Yeah, let's check out the little nest thing. I know it's a little biblical thing, but I thought it was something. But yeah, honestly, after yesterday, man, I'm really in a somber mood. It's hard to even speak on right now because I feel like the country just lost, and just like it's bad right now. It's bad enough to where I don't think I don't know, there's not words that I could vocalize. Hold on, fucking neighbor's coming home with fucking NASCAR over here.
No worries. I'll take it up from there. So what we're being told here of how it's being circulated on social media, and a lot of outlets, mainstream outlets, are covering it, is the shooter that attempted to assassinate President Trump was of 20 years of age. Um, Goes by the last name of Crooks, if I had that correct. Um, Matthew Crooks, if I have correct the name. And we're still trying to understand his background, his motive towards it. There is somewhat of a background of him. Basically, held a job at a nursing home as an assistant caregiver. Um, Really was just a normal person of a lot of people that are being questioned with some of the investigation. Now, I'm sure that they can go into a little bit more, but obviously, guys, as this kind of unfolds, we're going to learn a little bit more. But the shooter was 20 years of age, is presumed to be dead by a statement through Secret
No,
Service.
he's dead, brother. I could give you the details on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
His father had the AR. He took the AR from his father's house, or guess where he was living, and he was let up into a fucking area 130 yards away from where Trump was on a rooftop. And these snipers are trained for 1,000 yards out. 1,000 yards out. This guy's at 130 yards, and people were sitting there telling. And I'm not gonna lie. People are saying this guy has a gun and he's going up there. And you know what? There was also another report. A police officer, and he pointed the gun at him, came back down, And dude, it's a coup. Like there had to be somebody that let him up there at 130 yards, and he wasn't taken out until after he took a couple shots. That's a coup. And it's fucking scary to say that because, and honestly, maybe it's better to say that because I don't want to think our fucking Secret Service is that inept. Maybe that's a bad way to think of it, but what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. There was something that was, that I seen that it kind of, drove my attention, on broadcast of Alex Jones, which has been covering this left and right. I don't think that this guy's getting sleep at all because, he did a couple of live videos, live raw videos. If you've been paying attention, he's been up in, Northern California the last like day and a half. So he's not even at his studio. Most of all those videos were shot right outside, from an undisclosed location in Northern California. And basically saying that, like you just mentioned, Croc, that, during an event such as this, Secret Service will basically go around the event. They'll set a perimeter. They'll look for all types of angles, that could possibly draw attention, to something that would lead up to this. And why wasn't that shed or that hangar roof that the shooter was, basically kneeling at, surveyed even more? That's one. Okay. Another thing is there was bystanders. If you looked at that BCC, clip, just yesterday, there was a reporter from, BBC, questioning somebody saying that they seen suspicious activity on a roof. This was like, God, like earlier in the day, before it even happened, before Trump even took the stage, that they were noticing somebody, bear crawling up the roof and just kind of poaching around. And the gentleman that was being questioned by BBC, was basically, yelling towards Secret Service and law enforcement, saying, "There's somebody up on the roof. There's somebody up on the roof," yelling, screaming. So why wasn't that being addressed more seriously? Why did they ignore that bystander? So that's something to look at. I hope the Secret Service, including the FBI, investigates that.
I concur, and I think they probably already have, and they're all sitting down with everything right now and figuring out who the fuck fucked up and what they're looking at everything right now because these people were obviously bought off somehow, some way that there was no way this could have ever happened on anybody, like on any kind of standard. Your best equipment, drones ahead, drones from above, people you don't realize, things that pick up with AI. And you think this little 20-year-old can just climb up a roof when people are saying, hey, look, no, no, I'm
Well,
not stupid.
did you catch, Dan Bongino, just, earlier today? Hold on, guys. Dan
Yes.
Bongino earlier today, did a emergency broadcast, about 20 minutes. Now, this was a really raw cut, podcast episode on his podcast. Wasn't even the Bongino brief. It wasn't a regular podcast episode. It was raw cut. I mean, he even says, he comes right in saying, guys, I do apologize for not having the, theatrics, the special effects coming in, the intro, all that. He didn't even have his intro music. Just came right in, basically presented the broadcast for about 20 minutes and questioned why wasn't this gun picked up on the, it's similar to like infrared type of technology that, if there's any type of weaponry, it would set it off, instantly. Why wasn't it being set off, throughout the event? Why wasn't that alerted to Secret Service? And before the shots were fired, after they were fired, excuse me, if you zoom in on one of the videos, even Bongino put it on his feed. If you zoom in on one of the videos, you'll see the Secret Service sniper then going in to the scope, being ordered to take down the sniper that was attempted to assassinate Trump. That was done right after the shots were fired by the shooter. So you want to question. You do. You want to make assumptions, but yet alone, I live by that rule. Live by the rule that to let things marinate a couple days after to see exactly what happened, because you don't want to make assumptions too quick. You know what I mean? But you do want to question, like, look at the video. Why did it take a couple seconds for that sniper on the other rooftop with Secret Service to then go in order to direct to kill the shooter? Right? You got to question it. I mean, right? I mean, thoughts,
Yeah,
Gronk. I mean, I know it.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah. That's the thing, right? Like you said, but right now, man, there's a lot of questions, but that's definitely one of them because I saw the video too. But at what angle? What time was that? Like, there was it was a couple shots, but was his the follow through to do afterwards that
Yeah,
shot the
on top of the
person?
video. Yeah, I hate to chime in, but on top of the video, um, where Bongino clip. I'm referencing Bongino, guys, because he's an expert in on all this. Because Bongino is a former Secret Service agent to actually a few presidents in between. So Bongino actually said, if you look at it, there's a 6 second, there's 3 second, and this was right after the initial shooting. So why was there a delay? And then why were they ignoring the bystander saying, hey, there's somebody on the roof, there's somebody on the, like, why? So you want to question that too. Like, cause it's a suspicious thing. They tell you that right in airports too, right? If you see suspicious activity, if you see a suspicious individuals, voice up, well, that should apply to events like that. If you see something suspicious, voice up, damn it. The guy was voicing up. The bystander was saying, there's somebody on the fucking roof, and it was being ignored.
The only thing I could think of is if somebody on the outset said, "This is they're part of the team," and there was somebody, the sniper, like you said, he had his eye on him. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is he allowed to be up here? And he takes the shots, and maybe he took the shots afterwards. Like, because there's no reason that he shouldn't have been shot as soon as he's up there in the first place, unless somebody said he's legit.
Yeah, let's welcome in Dark Veal. How you doing, Dark?
Good, gentlemen. I apologize. I'm out and about, so it's a little noisy in the background, but what K-Rock said is spot on. I literally woke up thinking about this, and that's exact scenario is the only scenario under which this could have occurred.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And yeah, bear with the noise with me, guys. I'm sitting on my porch here, and I'm just puzzled by the turn of events. I'm puzzled by mainstream media even saying and labeling it that Secret Service interrupted Trump's rally as Trump fell down during his rally after a couple of pops. He didn't fall down. Well, yeah, he fell down, but he fell down because he got shot on the side of his face near his ear that could have led to his death. Like, what the hell is wrong with CNN and MSNBC for labeling it that way? Seriously, I'm enraged by that. I really am.
Yep, should delegitimize them, but at the same time, the people that hate Trump wish this would have fucking fell through, because you know what? There's so much hate on that side that there was so much shit going on last night talking about They're pissed off that they missed. It's so fucking gross that they didn't realize that y'all are so lucky. You are not dead today because you almost fucking killed yourself last night by killing Trump. Because I swear to God, we're the ones with the guns, and that shit today would be bloody. We wouldn't be in a space right now talking. Whew, I guarantee you wouldn't.
Well, you know, if you also been paying attention, they there was a statement that was addressed by Joe Biden about 4 days prior to yesterday's events, saying that um, we're not going to talk about the debate anymore. We really need to put Trump in a bullseye. That was said by your current president right now. Why isn't media outlets taking that under radar as potentially invoking violence that led up to yesterday's event?
They're taking it down, and I sent it to Sean. Also, I did hear. Is it true that there were explosives found in this perpetrator's vehicle? Because I did read that or hear that this morning.
Yeah, I heard that too. But that sounds like a little bit of a setup. It's like if you were going to if you're going to go do that, you know you're going to die. Why are you going to leave explosives in your car? Sounds like a fucking redneck starter kit. I don't know.
Well, it would be interesting
Watch your mouth.
to look into the family's finances. Like, was this, like, I just can't even believe this actually happened in the United States of America. Like, you would think this is a third world country. I remember when, and I'm Canadian, and I remember when Robert Kennedy was shot, and my mom sitting in front of the TV. So he was shot in 1968, so I would have been 6. And that memory is like her sitting really close to the black and white box TV, sobbing her heart out. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And it especially with the technology, I'm just absolutely aghast that it's happened, and so sad for the family of the man that was killed, and it just breaks my heart, and the people that had to witness it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about a millimeter of a second of Trump's head movement.
Yeah, I sent
Literally.
Sean, I sent you a picture, because every time I go to try to put something in the nest, it never works for me. So I sent a picture to Sean, because there was a graphic that somebody did of like his head and how it moved. I can send it to Croc, because Sean's not speaking, so he might be eating dinner or doing something else. I'll send it to Croc,
Yeah,
and if you,
I seen that graphic. Somebody else posted that, Jacqueline, on his head movement. I mean, we're
yeah,
talking about a millimeter
yeah,
of not even an inch, like a hairline type of fracture, basically. If you look at like X-ray pictures and stuff, where the head is like the way he moved it, like literally, they're calling it like divine purpose on how he moved.
divine intervention.
There you go. Yeah.
And Eric Trump posted, because it's 2 years ago today that his mom died, and Eric Trump posted that he believes that his mom was a divine intervention, which very well in my world could be very true.
Yeah, it could be. We definitely have a good friend up in heaven, looking down at the president right now, making sure to keep him in safety. Literally, Jesus has the helm of President Trump. So, get ahead on the losing end.
Got a little funny. My son just showed me a video of that somebody had put on TikTok. It was like some gameplay from Call of Duty, and it said America right now if Trump would have got hit or something like that. It was fucking hilarious.
The,
Yeah, well,
the support at in New York, the support in California, the support in, I think it was they're showing all the support, and there's no rioting, nobody's looting, nobody's like it's just like what I expected to see growing up, what you know, not what protests have become, and it's kind of really nice to see that there's no rioting and looting. It's support. I
well, I
think
mean,
that.
look exactly what happened after 9/11, right? The country was unified, and sadly, it takes events like that to make our country unified. But it shouldn't take events like 9/11 and events like yesterday to unify us as a nation. We should come together as a nation. We should love each other, respect each other. Uh, Violence and terrorism has no place in this country. And I'm glad to hear that Democrats, certain Democrats, are condemning violence, as I seen. Vice President Kamala Harris putting that out. Joe Biden, somewhat of his speeches coming out and saying that Senator Schumer, a lot of Democrats are coming out and saying, what happened in Pennsylvania yesterday was a horrific event, terrible. So I'm glad that Democrats are waking up. Yeah.
But
They're not.
in all honesty, I'm going to be cynical. Are they saying it because they need to say it, or be they saying it because they believe it?
Well,
Thank you, my darling.
yeah. Go ahead. 1 second, Jen. Let me respond to that, and then I'll let you speak. Well, I would hope that they're saying it and they're meaning it, and it's coming from their hearts. But I don't want to doubt exactly what you're referring to. But I hope they mean it. I hope it's coming from the heart because violence has no place in America. And I'm going to land there. Go ahead, Jen. Yeah, go ahead, Jen. Hey, can you guys hear me? I'm doing a mic check.
I can hear you. I'm just wondering if. Oh, there she's.
I respect your opinion, but I don't think people are nice. I think they're evil, and I think they're gonna do whatever they want to do to make their plans come alive.
Yeah. Well, having a having mentality like that in any individual's mindset is just setting us back. We're not going forward on a positive note, and I really don't want to see events like this that will strengthen our country. I don't want to see events that happened yesterday to strengthen our country like that. We shouldn't have to go through stuff like that in order to be you know a healthy nation.
I am sorry. I do agree 100%. I do want everybody to let's get along. Let's just make this country great. We are amazing. Let's please do that.
Yeah, I hear you kind of rubber banding at the end there, but I hear what you're saying. Sean, welcome in. Notice that you have a mic. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, sorry, brother. I didn't realize that it was still. I was just going to say to Jackie, I was going to post her picture, but uh, our friend Don Stakes had already posted it as well, so I just shared his.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank
Good.
you. Yeah, if you guys are posting stuff here, if you guys could post it in the pill, because sometimes I'm being told if you do post it in the nest, it kind of messes up with the space a little bit. So if you guys could just post it down in the pill, I appreciate it, just for future reference. Um, Dark Veal, go ahead. If you want to speak, I'll let you guys speak. Alrighty, guys. Feel free to jump in. We got a lot of people in the space. I want to hear from you guys. Welcome on in. Sam, Bellbottom, Sophia, Toes there on the bottom. I see you. Croc, I'm going to try to get you a mic. I noticed that you kind of dropped down. I don't know if there's connection issues, but I'd like to hear more of you, more of your insights on this. So another thing I want to bring into is that another thing that I want to reference back to Bongino because of his expertise in Secret Service. Also brought this to a point, which is also could be looked as a takeaway on possibly the technology they use for events like this, with rallies and public events with politicians such as the president, former president, people running for office. They usually, they go through a perimeter protocol on the entire property, right? Days upon days before this even happens. Now, what if it was said that in order for it not to trick off the technology that they use to detect weaponry, okay? And there's a lot of different types of technology that they use. Metal detectors. They sometimes bury line around the entire property, which can detect weaponry up to, like, I believe he said, like almost 1,000 yards. Now, if this weapon could have been planted months upon months, meaning the weapon that he used to cause bodily injury towards President Trump and then killing a bystander in the stands. What if this weapon was actually buried outside of the perimeter months upon months? So it wasn't detected by Secret Service. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? Like if the weapon was actually buried somewhere near the perimeter where it wasn't going to set it off. That's something also they should look into. Was it buried? How did he get it in? Because you just can't bring something in, and a weapon that size, you can't, hide it up, not to sound sick, but your anus or anything like that. I mean, we're talking about a semi-automatic weapon. It's not easily, or it cannot be easily hidden in that fact. So that's something that we have to look into. How was this weapon brought in to begin with? And I'm sure Secret Service and FBI is going to look into that.
Yeah, it'd be hard to keister an AR-15. I know Croc can do it, but not everybody can.
Well, what's your insights on that, Sean? As I just kind of left that in the towards the end, possibly being buried somewhere near the property, months upon months
how,
before.
Oh,
how,
I thought you meant in Croc's butt.
yeah, that's what I
Sorry.
was saying. Yeah. So out of curiosity, like like this event, um, how, how far in advance was it planned?
Well, I'm only going by how they advertise it on DonaldTrump.com. Okay, because if you go to DonaldTrump.com, a lot of his events now in 2024, I've just noticed in actually the last year, 2023, they usually advertise it like within a week before the actual event. Back then, when he was actually running, in 2015 going through like 2016, they would advertise it months and months and months in advance. They don't no longer do that if you guys been paying attention. The events are now advertised like within like a week, week and a half. So that's how they advertise it. They do it, I think, because of new security protocols.
Oh yeah, no, and it makes sense that they would do that. You know, you don't want to give somebody the advantage of time to plan something. Um, and then, it's a shame because actually I would have actually been at that rally because it's only 3 hours away and that's probably the closest Trump will ever come to my border. So, um, but yeah, no, it being buried in advance, I think is maybe likely if it's within a week, but like if it's as much as a week, but anything, sooner than that, I would doubt. Like, it's an interesting question. I never considered it because you think that the guy just somehow smuggled it in, but it's
You can't
unlikely.
smuggle a gun that
Yeah,
size,
yeah,
Sean.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, you can't. No, you're right. So it would have to have been on the property, I would imagine, and he just waltzed in and just went for the gun. And also, too, is that there was a ladder. Where did the ladder come from?
exactly. Was it underneath the actual? I'm being told it was a shed. So was it stored underneath the shed? This guy planned this. He had to plan it in advance. Um, we're also understanding that he was a registered Republican. So by being a registered Republican, he had to get. And I'm just making assumptions, guys. I'm not making clear assumptions that they're factual, but I'm trying to put the pieces together as a lot of media is doing the same thing. That this gentleman, as a registered Republican, was smart in that matter to get very, very comfortable around the Republican base, understanding where their political messaging was going to be for rallies and this and that, become familiar with the base and this and that. You know, um, that's what I'm assuming.
Well,
I'm just
well,
trying to put the pieces together.
I saw a TikTok that this guy made. I think it was him saying that he hated Republicans. So I'm wondering, I'd like to know when he registered as a Republican. If it was intended just to throw things off, just to thought it would create infighting or whatever. The guy must have knew that he was going on a suicide mission, so he wasn't coming back from this. Um,
Well, he also, to give you a side note, Sean, he also made a $15 donation
yep, I saw
to.
that as well.
Yeah. Oh, you seen that? Okay.
Yeah, no, I saw that he made a donation, 2017. It was a number of years ago. $15.
I mean, $15, $15, but still, I mean,
Yeah,
eh, it was
but
right
going
after
to,
his. Yeah, it was right after his graduation. Believe it or not, because he was only 20 years of age. So this was what, uh, 3, 4 years ago. Well, it had to be when he was 18 because I mean, uh, by law, you can't, underage, you can't make a donation at 17 years old, right?
yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe somewhere along the line he lost his way and got radicalized and didn't change his political affiliation. I don't know how to answer that one. That's odd. But as for the planning that went into the attempt, um, well, let's put it this way: we could have used him on our side because he would have had to have been pretty fucking smart. So, but I don't. It's a good question. How did these things? Because that shed was
Yeah.
a tall shed. It looked like it was at least 10 feet to
Well,
the
he was
roof
he
line.
was he was porched as we're looking and we're hearing from different types of media outlets. He was porched at like a 90-degree angle. Um, so if you're porched at a 90-degree angle, and guys, I'm not speaking on expertise. I'm just going by what I'm seeing throughout social media. Porched at a 90-degree angle, using that type of weapon at the right angle, basically going over the crowd in a way with wind trajectory. Yeah, that was. I guess that's how he was able to make his target. Then, right?
Well, I guess also too is that I'm wondering the skill level because I know that 150 yards out with an AR-15 isn't a huge deal, but you have to have some sort of skill level in order to be able to calmly pull the trigger and get to your target at that range. I'm wondering, what did this kid know? And
Exactly. Exactly. Like what?
he's only 20 years old, so he didn't have a lot
Well,
of experience. I wouldn't think.
Well, 20 years old, yeah, with the experience, we want to know what he was circulating around, what type of social media activity, what type of people that he knew and circled around to get to that experience as a sniper type of scenario, how to position the gun. I mean, 20 years old, I mean, how long has he been doing it? How long has he had access to these type of guns? Now, the type of gun that I'm being told that was purchased was retail value around $12,000. So it was a pretty hefty price. $12,000 for a 20-year-old kid. He was a kid, 20 years old is a kid still in my eyes.
And
Um,
an AR-15 is 12 grand.
that's what I'm being told. The type of gun that he purchased was around $12,000.
Wow. Now, I've also heard that it was his father's gun. I think Croc was the one that had mentioned that in a previous broadcast earlier today.
Okay, so
But
I
yeah.
haven't been able to watch the news a little. I watched a little bit of it this morning, but obviously, as you know, the investigation and the story gets played out, we're going to get some
Oh
more
yeah. No.
information.
Yeah. No. No. Of course. Yeah. No. I haven't heard any details about the price of the weapon, or where he got it from. I'm kind of, I'm kind of waiting on those pieces as well. But I think most of us are trying to figure out how this guy managed to get up on a roof with a weapon and not be fired upon before he fired upon President Trump. The thing that I had, because I saw that, I think the same broadcast as you with the ex Secret Service guy. I forget his name now.
Dan
Um,
Bongino.
yeah, Dan Bongino.
Yeah.
Um, he was trying his best to be complimentary to the Secret Service, but he was critical as well. Um, I had where was it? I can't remember now. Sorry, Savage. I just was going to say something
Well,
and I've
what
forgotten what I
Bongino
was going
went
to say.
into, yeah, Bongino went into a little bit during his broadcast yesterday, a little bit because he did like a special broadcast about 20 minutes. Um, if you bear with me, guys, I'll mute myself. I'll go back over to Spotify and I'll take that direct link and you can go, listen to it within your own leisure. Um, but it's right around 20 minutes in length and it's available on Spotify all over the place, actually. Um, and he did say, as an event that size, usually, you would have between 6 to 10 snipers of Secret Service members. Now, the snipers that were being used were only about 4 to 5. Usually, an event that size is roughly between like sometimes 10 to 12, sometimes going into 15. But as Bongino announced, President Trump is the only former president right now with the smallest Secret Service detail circulating around him. The other presidents, including Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, has a larger Secret Service detail than President Trump right now. He's been saying for months that the director of the Secret Service has to up the detail on President Trump. This is also an individual where she has no backbone in making decisions. Everything is being politicized. So she has to get her head out of her ass. And I'm quoting Bongino right now with his show just earlier today, actually. We're still in Sunday, but quoting him saying that she has to get her head out of her ass and do what's right and up the detail for President Trump. Because small Secret Service detail, it shouldn't be like that. He should have a lot of security detail, if not more than the other former presidents.
Well, I think that there's a question of the quality of of the personnel as well. One is that the director of the Secret Service is and used to work for Pepsi Cola.
Yep.
That's kind of an odd pedigree for that job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
To have a caliber
she,
like that, Sean, I'm going to kind of jump in with you a little bit as given side comments. To have a resume like that with a company like that, that shows that you shouldn't be placed in that position. She's placed in the position, what, because of management skills and experience? That's what it seems like. Usually to get placed like that with directory, towards the Secret Service, I would like to see military experience. I would like to see combat experience and everything else with detail, security detail that circulates that. Pepsi Cola? Are you kidding me?
yeah, yeah, no, and I also too is that I think I read 3 months ago she was focusing on trying to get 30% women in the Secret Service by 2030, if I recall. So
Well,
she wasn't focused on the quality of personnel. She was
she's
focusing
establishing
on
that
quotas.
because if you look at the Secret Service detail just yesterday, President Trump had about, and I'm not saying anything or bashing women, but there was about 3 or 4 that I noticed that were female agents.
That seemed to be running around rather confused. Did you notice
Confused.
that?
The woman on stage after Trump got up to raise his fist and shout something which looked like fight, fight that was coming out of his mouth in rage. I'm sure the man is, the former president was probably in shock and denial, like, holy shit, I'm still alive. And then if you look at the female agent, she's ducking down.
Yeah,
What the hell is she doing ducking down?
I know her sole purpose is to protect the president,
Yeah,
and
that's what
she
they
seemed to
sign
be
up
kind of,
for.
yeah, she seems to be wanting to protect herself.
Yeah.
So, um, there was another one that had trouble holstering her weapon. Another one messing around with her sunglasses while I guess doing kind of combination of crowd control and ensuring that President Trump's vehicle was able to exit the grounds. It seemed like there was lack of coordination and ineptitude. I don't know whether it's based on lack of experience or that their hiring practices and standards have decreased
Well,
dramatically.
if it was a lack of experience, they have the wrong security detail in an event like that. And like
Yeah, oh yeah.
I hate to bring it in, but Bongino is absolutely correct, and I hope he listens to this broadcast. That is, it's in recorded mode, guys. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. If you don't feel like that you want to speak, I totally understand. But Bongino, even Alex Jones is saying, they've been calling it for weeks on their shows, including the spaces too that they're involved with, that they have to up the detail with President Trump because the amount of people that they have protecting him is slim to none. They have people in position right now that don't know what the hell they're doing. Like you just quoted something, Sean, that's really on point. They looked very confused yesterday in Pennsylvania. A lot of agents looking around, grabbing their holsters like, okay, like, what do I do next? You have to understand, like, what to do next. There shouldn't be hesitation. You have to be ready at any given moment to fire that gun when necessary to protect the most important person in the world running for office. That should
Well,
be at their highest
so
level of concern.
one of the things that was mentioned, I was watching Ben Shapiro earlier, was that the sniper had made visual contact with the sniper, with the shooter, for what has been said to be up to 3 minutes. And he wasn't engaged. And what was said is that the rules of engagement with something in this situation is that you can't fire until you're being fired upon, which I think is absolutely insane. So in other words, let him get his shot off. If he has experience, he might actually be successful. And then you go get him. And, and the fear is that, well, he might have a telescope. A telescope on top of a roof that he's not supposed to be on. You're supposed to have active surveillance and know where everybody is at any given time. That's why you have areas that are fenced off so the crowd can't go wandering around the farm where this event was taking place. It's why when you're working with local PD where they are, as well as your own people at all times. So there's no confusion of who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. So this clearly was a bad guy. If they didn't know what if he was carrying a weapon or not, well, that's another story. And you've addressed that with several different ways to surveil to prevent that. But I'm sorry, but letting him take his shot is bizarre. That's counterintuitive.
Yeah, there was a lack of training being presented. Yesterday could have been something that would have led to death of Donald Trump, and I'm grateful that it didn't go that way, and I'm grateful that President Trump is still alive, because we're talking about a millimeter of a second with the head movement of Donald Trump. If he would have turned his head the opposite way, excuse me, it
We'd be talking a different
we
subject.
would,
Yeah.
yeah, you and I and the rest of us would be having an entire different conversation right now. Entire different conversation. The entire country would be in mourning right now with a former president deceased. And this would be an entire different conversation that would be very similar to Reagan and JFK. And I'm also being told that the Secret Service agents that were at the hospital that were waiting for en route, because they have dedicated routes with all these type of events on standby, that the phone call that was led to that hospital was the first time since the 80s. And they were very surprised that phone rang. Very surprised. But they handled it very, very, very responsibly and quickly and accurately. So I applaud that part of the Secret Service, but I demanded more protection. That was very, very close yesterday. Very, very close.
Well, they're going to be investigating this with a microscope, no doubt. Now, the amount of cover-ups that are going to be uh, involved is another story, because we're already seeing evidence of an attempt to cover things up, just simply because of the lack of answers to relatively simple questions. Um, even today, the Secret Service had a press conference, but the person that was actually speaking was a PR person, wasn't actually an agent. I don't know if you saw that, but it was actually audio. All I could see was audio.
Yeah, it was also the press conference they had last night, hours upon after. This was going into midnight hours, so Saturday night going into Sunday morning, roughly around 11:30 Eastern. Um, uh, Members of Butler Police Department, including State Police for Pennsylvania, uh, was in presence during that press conference with a few members of, I believe, FBI as well. They were taking questions. There was questions being asked, and constantly, I would direct that to the Secret Service. I would refer that to the Secret Service. These are questions that the American public are wanting to know. They're not asking other questions like, who was the gunman and what was the motives. Of course, we're not going to get questions from that because it's still fresh and we're still investigating, obviously. but we're questioning the motive behind Secret Service, state police, and local law enforcement in the attendance there at the rally. Where were those extra set of security hands by that shed? Why wasn't there security, state police, FBI, including Secret Service near there? They're supposed to set an entire perimeter, right? Now, guys, again, I'm going to say this because it's recorded and I want to make it on the record here. I'm not an expertise in any of what we're discussing, but as a concerned American citizen, just like the reporters, I'm demanding questions on why wasn't there enough hands meaning security detail, near that shed of where that shooter was. He was in clear shot, Sean. Clear shot
Yeah, no,
of what happened.
I've seen I've seen several diagrams of the area, and like I said, it was said that the Secret Service sniper had eyes on him long before he took his shot. There's been no answers to what was the protocol when you observe something like that. You know, despite the fact that he got all the way up there somehow with a weapon. You know, whether he had a weapon or not, if the sniper couldn't tell, I can understand that. But at the same time too is that, can you really afford to take a chance that he's just some random, event attendee that, uh, lost his way and was trying to find a better vantage point, or if it was a photographer thinking that they were going to get some really cool shots from that vantage point. You're in a place that you're not supposed to be, and you're a threat to the president, and your sole job is to protect that individual.
Yeah, another takeaway that a key point that Bongino made, again referencing him a lot in the space tonight because of his expertise of Secret Service working alongside of President Obama, including I believe George W. Bush as well. Um, he said that when you attend events like this, there are restriction points that
Yep.
you're allowed to go in and not allowed to go in. Now, the
It,
restriction points would be obviously anywhere near the protectee, meaning the president, Trump, and aides and other people circulating around him, including the audience and stuff like that. But that would be in non-restriction points. Restriction points are where the president is standing, where the president is traveling by foot. Those are all restriction points that you're not allowed to go through. Okay. The other restriction points are in clear projection of possible threats towards the president, meaning rooftops, certain areas. Those were not cleared by Secret Service, meaning the shed that apparently the shooter was porched on was not cleared by Secret Service, meaning that if it was cleared by Secret Service, or if it was cleared, let me rephrase that so you guys can understand. If if it was restricted, I was looking for the words. Okay, if it was restricted, then there would be Secret Service detail and other law enforcement there right next to it. There was no Secret Service near that shed. There was no law enforcement, nobody. Just a few little bystanders, with the bystander yelling to Secret Service minutes before this even happened. There's somebody on the roof. There's somebody on the roof ignoring the fact that he's pointing, looking right at Secret Service as he's saying to the roof and ignoring it. Why are they not questioning that?
well, I think they're probably trying to get their story straight, to be honest with you, because it's going to be very difficult when you have somebody that's an attendee. First thing, I'm wondering, this seems like an interesting question, but why, how was it that even attendees were in that area and could observe that? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Because it goes back to what I just said, Sean. It
Yeah,
was
that
not
was it. Yeah,
it was
it
not
wasn't. Yeah,
cleared out by Secret Service as a restriction zone, meaning that they use military labels for it, okay, more or less, where it's like an X7 or an X5, meaning that it's a restriction zone. You're not allowed in there. Now, if it was a restriction zone,
yeah. No, no, I get
there
it.
wouldn't be any bystanders there. So obviously that wasn't restricted by Secret Service or FBI to begin with. So that's why they were able to stand there. That's what I'm getting at. You there, Sean? We're having some issues with Sean. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Mic check, making sure I'm coming in. All right. Dark, I'm going to go to you because I haven't heard from you at all. It's kind of going back and forth with Sean. So hopefully Sean can come back into the mix. But what's your views and takes on any of what we're discussing, bud?
Yeah, so I put myself in the moment, right? Just as the other person was talking, I didn't catch who it was. But I put myself in the moment. Oh, no, it was you. Sorry about that. I was getting up and changing menus. What you were just talking about, I picture myself as the counter sniper, right, in that moment. And if that area had not been blocked off at all, I can see the consideration that was made by Sir Sean, right, where it was like maybe the guy's in a place that he's not supposed to be, and if you know that it's not an area that's, that the hygiene or the security has been maintained at, then of course you're going to take that half second. But seriously, the really the only obvious vantage point, when I look at the map of the site, not being the absolute focus of at least one of the counter snipers at all times, and then all of a sudden the presence of a person on that roof. And then certainly something in his hand, and then certainly after the first shot, what the hell took so long? I get it if it, they were caught blind, but when you see the map, it's clear at least one guy would have had his scope on that rooftop, no questions asked, and he would have had a clear view of it. He wouldn't have been in a position where those trees, if you look at it, could have been blocking him really at all. He would have selected an open line of sight where he could have had the vast majority of that rooftop in his scope. So to me, like I said, I woke up thinking about this because it's just such a to think to and I don't condemn people that aren't yet in a hard position, this hard position of believing that it was an inside job, but I just can't fathom how something like that could happen.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Here's something also too to take into play here. Going back to restriction zones, going back to technology that was also brought in by Bongino and other experienced individuals that have worked around Secret Service detail in that matter. Um, the type of technology that they use for events like this, political events, high political events such as rallies and including debates and all anywhere where usually a presidential candidate, a former president, or even the president themselves, senators, congressmen, you guys get the memo, right? They place these type of, I'm told that they're wires that usually get buried all over the event. And they can detect automatically when there is a weapon near the assailant, the sniper or the perpetrator that's using it. Okay. Instantly. Alerts go off instantly. They go into headpieces, with agents. They go into, uh, different types of machines to give out beacon alerts automatically. Not even, it happens faster than a snap of a finger. Okay. Alerts go right off. Where were the alerts with that? Okay. Because that shed the assailant that was there, okay, the perpetrator that was there was, I'm sure, within the perimeter that they set all these lines at. Okay? Why weren't those alerts going off? Because Bongino questioned it yesterday on his show. Okay? A little bit from Alex Jones. He kind of piggybacked off of what I guess Bongino had said, because I want to relate to Bongino because of his experience. But why weren't they going off? Why weren't the agents getting the feedback from that? The gun was in his hand. The rifle was in his hand. Why weren't they being alerted? And why did that one agent then wait, I think it was like 6 to 9 seconds before he goes into the scope to make the fire shot to shoot the shooter on the shed? Where was the delay? Or why was there a delay? That's what I have to ask. You know? We demand the answers. Because if we're going to understand, this will prevent something from happening in the future. Obviously, they fucked up. Secret Service, local law enforcement, they fucked up. And it almost led to something very, very serious towards a former president. Talking again, guys, a millimeter of a second of a head turn. We would be having a different conversation here today. But I'm glad that Secret Service did shield the president as he ducked down very quickly. And also, too, I'm also glad that if you guys paid attention in the rally, they have like this American flag type of banner thing near the stage. That's not just graphics, guys. That's bulletproof. That is placed there on purpose as a shield. And I believe that the third going into the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth shot of when the shooting was being taken place, most of that was blocking some of the fire. And also, too, you would have to take into consideration the podium. With a lot of that had blocked some of the gunfire. So those two things most likely probably saved President Trump's life, including Secret Service, too, that jumped on him and shielded him a little bit. But that's another takeaway to kind of put into that. But just, wow. So, yeah, I'm just glad that he's okay. I really am. I'm glad that, you know, the Secret Service did respond that they could in a way, but I wish they responded a little quicker. Because even though it left a injury towards President Trump with his ear, that looked like it was like halfway shot off, that wouldn't have happened if Secret Service acted a little quicker. So do I blame reaction? Do I blame coordination? Absolutely. I demand why the coordination, why there was a delay in the coordination, and I demand why there was also a delay in the reaction towards that. Because those events use technology to detect weaponry. Why wasn't it being picked up? That's what I have to ask. Croc, welcome on in. I think you heard a little bit of what I had said in the end. I'm questioning the technology that was placed there at the event that detects weaponry of all kinds. Why wasn't hold that thought? Hold that thought. I don't know if you heard that, but why wasn't that technology alerted to those Secret Service agents? Why? It's detected automatically. Those agents know when there's weaponry detected. It happens automatically, buddy. Why weren't they alerted? That's what I have to ask. Maybe you know something that I don't know, or you're seeing different news.
No, I don't know anything about that. I just know that, you know, there's a lot of people that are in powerful positions and hold a lot of shit over people's heads, and things happen. And we need to figure out what happened. The investigation. I think there's going to be there's a group of people which are and there's going to be a group of people that are in. You know, it's going to get deep. The people that were in charge of the people that let that happen, and they're going to look at the people that why that happened in their past. There's a fucking deep investigation going on right now, and I really do hope they find out somebody fucked up from the inside, because at the end of the day, I really hoped we fucked up from the inside instead of our fucking best people failing at their job miserably. I'd rather somebody on the inside fuck up than the American fucking good people.
Well, you notice by protocol, this is now considered a crime investigation on a federal level.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So with that being said, by
I mean, he was
protocol,
shot in the fucking head. Fucking
well,
yeah, that's
well,
without saying.
well, hold on. Let it marinate for a little bit. So so you understand what I'm going with this. Okay. Due to the nature of what happened, okay, the Secret Service, they did their job. Their job is done now. Okay. So now it goes on over towards the FBI. Okay. The Secret Service cannot interrogate nor investigate within their own department. It gets carried over towards the FBI. And the reason for that is because it would also be considered a class of conflict of interest. That's why they have to turn it over to the FBI. Okay.
Yeah,
So the FBI has to investigate it and everything else. Okay.
yeah. It's like the other branches over the government. Everyone has to, have a hand over the other one.
But
There has to be.
if there was a failure to react or a failure to respond by any of those agents, that will come out in the internal investigation. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, we can't change that though. And that it's
Should they
fucked up
be
that.
held accountable? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like Candace Owens said just earlier today, if you guys been paying attention on her feed, she demands every name of that Secret Service detail that was assigned with that event yesterday in Pennsylvania. She demands every name to be forward, because if there was an act to not respond, or excuse me, a lack of an act, guys, you see what I had to say that carefully, a lack to react, to respond to that, then someone in that detail should be held accountable because they failed to act. Now, that could be linked to a lot of things. Improper training or hesitation to panic. I mean, they teach this right out of the military, Croc. And they teach it right out of the Secret Service, too. So somebody should be held accountable. Absolutely. And I applaud Candace Owens for bringing that into play in her video earlier today. But go ahead, buddy.
yeah. I don't know. I agree. Like I agree with a lot she said, but when she said bring everybody's name forward, no, not at all. Let the internal investigation go from a different, like you said, another 3-letter agency. Figure it out. Don't put everybody's name on the line right now, because people's families could be threatened. Somebody that maybe had nothing to do with it. Doesn't matter. You can't just say who was there, this and that. People are mad right now. You don't need to put people's names out, because people are just looking for a reason. And that's one thing I don't agree with Candace Owens. But most of the time she's right. But do not put names out
You
there
have to
right now to keep
yeah,
people in
yeah.
mind.
I might have, yeah. She's upset. She's demanding questions. Everyone's upset. Okay, so they're saying it out of anger. They're not saying it out of action. Understand that, guys. It's out of anger, not action. The anger being presented right now in the country, excuse me, in the
Well,
country is,
anger out of action. I like
yeah,
that.
is anger. It's not being shown out of action. It's being shown out of anger, because there was a delay in that security detail yesterday. That had to be, because, these people are trained with the highest standards of protecting the protectee, which is the president and others in that nature. They're trained in highest military practices, and for somebody not to carry that out, I'm sure there will be um, accountability towards that detail, whether it was on the FBI side, the Secret Service side, local law enforcement, because they do uh, cross collaborate with one another in order for, for that type. So we don't know where it came from. It could have came from Secret Service detail. It could have came from state police, local law enforcement, any of that. So yes, there has to be accountability, but we're going to learn that out in the coming days, I'm sure.
And I think it might be state or local because, man, that was just too easy. And even when, he goes there, he's in New York all the time, hundreds of windows. They have snipers in hundreds of windows looking at every other window. They know what they're looking for. If you can cover New York City, you can't cover a little city in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so on to other things. I'm told that what they're going to have the convention that's going to go as planned. I'm assuming.
Tomorrow, yeah. That's inside though, thank God.
Well, yeah, that's inside.
Like they were like, hey, they were surprised Trump was going golfing, and I was like, no shit, dude, he's trying to fucking clear his head. That's the only thing he can do to fucking relax is probably go golfing because everybody's like, how are you? He's like, fucking leave me alone.
I've
Let me go
seen
hit
that
some balls.
he's golfing there in New Jersey earlier today, and I mean,
That's a man right there.
playing a whole round of golf like nothing happened. I mean, literally a warrior of God, you know?
And it's the only thing against evil we have right now. And I've never believed in like evil and all that stuff, but the devil is among us, and it's fucking gross.
Well,
No,
you notice what Alex Jones said, just earlier today throughout the weekend. The deep state, um, needs to be looked at with their actions, okay? Because they tried to go after him. They tried to, assassinate his character, right? Failed. They tried to, uh, bankrupt him. Failed. They tried to orchestrate a fake, set of charges of 34 charges. That failed. Okay. They brought in, or excuse me, before that, they brought in a porn star to try to, manipulate that in court hearings. That failed. Okay. And then after that, they tried to kill the man, and that failed. So they are trying to do everything in their power right now to take this guy out. And he's coming back stronger, and it's creating a stronger base for him. There are people right now, Croc, and on the losing end, and guys that, ladies and gentlemen, that are joining, Democrats seeing what the deep state is doing right now, and they are jumping ship and joining the MAGA movement and seeing what the hell is going on. This country is in fucking warfare, literally warfare, and it's all from the deep state.
it's scary. It really is scary because, like I said, if it would have happened last night, today would be a different story. But now that this has happened, it cannot happen again because if it does, this country is it's going to be questionable.
It is. It's going to be extraordinary questionable. I noticed that they're upping detail with the convention for tomorrow. I'm looking at video on my tablet, actually. And uh, they're upping barricades around the convention. They're also upping security detail in front of Trump Tower in New York City. I haven't seen anything circulate with Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure that that is being heavily fortified. And I notice how certain outlets are saying that, with statements saying that they don't see any immediate threat right now. Well, I hate to tell you guys, just because you don't see anything right now, don't always assume that the threat level has diminished, because the violence will occur more and orchestrate more from agitators that are evoking the violence. I mean, am I right or wrong? I mean, the more they evoke it through words and posting and imagery and video, the more that gets agitators angry, that you seen yesterday. I mean, for God's sakes, look at the freaking videos that the Biden administration is putting out on social media. Have you seen them? They're dangerous, guys. Dangerous. What do you think that does to people that see that? It puts a mental image in their brains. You want to blame anybody. Blame people that are putting images like that, and video images out like that, because that is influencing the violence. They have to be held accountable, guys. I'm going to speak on both sides, because the right is just to be blamed as the left. They have to stop this. If you want peace in this world, you cannot institute this type of stuff. These are images that sink into people's minds, usually people that are sick and demented, that don't have a heart or a soul, because they constantly think of crazy stuff in their head. And that's what led to yesterday. We can't have that. We can't. And that's why I just started to do this emergency broadcast, because we need to inform people out there, including myself and countless others. The way to diminish violence in this country is to diminish what we are seeing on social media, what we are seeing through video images and regular images on social media. That's how you get rid of the violence, when you get rid of that stuff, because it's dangerous. It really is. And I'm going to land there. I'm going to get some water. Croc, on the losing end, you guys can weigh in here. I'm going to get a quick little break, because if I don't, I'll tire myself out.
Well, I just
But
need go
go,
ahead.
go, you go ahead, Croc. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say it's basically mental illness. The left is basically mental ill. Everything they say is right. Everything we say is wrong. No matter if they're proven right or wrong, they're stupid and they believe what they believe, and that's what happens when you don't really teach your children how to grow up and you raise a retard. How you going? Losing in?
Oh, we're doing good. I just wanted to let y'all know that we dropped a new discount code. It's Deep State Sucks Nuts 10, and it'll get you 10% off of your Nason iodine and your fish oil. And we got a new ivermectin out. Don't tell nobody, because they don't want to sell in it.
Hey, I got a heart guard for my dog, and it says fucking ivermectin. That's the same thing. They just call it heart guard. Swear to God, it says active ivermectin. So now my
Yeah,
dog doesn't get heart guard in case I get COVID. I'm just kidding.
just don't turn your dog gay.
Ew. I'll try. Oh, mercy. Such
Uh,
a
it's
lovely.
been crazy. It's been crazy 24 hours for sure.
Yeah, that's why I just can't help but not be. I don't know. I'd either lose my shit right now if I didn't smile.
Here's one thing for sure.
Lost, but I'm still trying to keep it together.
Oh yeah. Well, here's one thing for sure. No matter what happens, this will be this. I mean, like we're living in the start of it right now. You know, whether it ends up being World War III, Civil War, or some great, restoration period, whatever. As we look back in the history books, it will be whatever they call this time period will have already been started, and we're living through it right now.
Today or yesterday will be a day that will never be forgot. 7/13.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Those images of yesterday's rally with Trump on the floor near the podium. I seen that image circulate all over social media, and I was in tears when I seen that. The blood coming off his face, dripping on the floor. I mean, that will circulate America forever. Uh, oh,
That's the word.
I got to be in tears when he got to doing that fist pump.
well, I mean, I think he was in shock and denial, guys, because, the man was just shot at, and he comes up and gives a fist towards the people there in the rally, with, it looked like the words of fight, fight. But before he did that, you could see his face a little weary, in denial that he's still alive, because, I mean, to have a bullet go right through his ear and not kill him. I mean, even a simple man, right? Because we know that Trump is not a regular man. He's built differently. The man is full of stamina. He's full of strength. He's full of dignity. He's full of honor. I mean, he's not a regular man. So for a man of that caliber, he even has to question, like, holy shit, like, what just happened?
Worse than that, like, what do you think Barron Trump or his other children were thinking?
I'm sure it
That
terrified him.
service like
I'm
that.
sure.
Like his son Barron. Can you imagine what he went through yesterday? What
I'm sure. I'm sure he went through a lot. I mean, he's still a young man. I mean, if something were to happen to his father, I'm sure he would be in agonizing pain. I mean, not only towards the children of Trump, but people in this nation, Croc, they truly love President Trump of what he gave to us for 4 years during his first presidency. He gave us a lot. He sacrificed a lot. He gave up a lot to give us all that. The man is loved not only on a national scale, but on the world stage. So if something were to happen to him, the world would be in mourning.
I think it's more spiritual now. That's the only way that saved him from that shot yesterday.
Well, God definitely had his hand on Donald Trump. Because when he, and if you guys believe in spirituality, or you believe in God or the higher power or whatever, okay, I truly believe that you could see the spirit reaching for Trump, okay? Because when he put his hand up just near his ear, you could almost see a spirit like flicking the bullet out of the direction of Trump. And that spirit, I believe, was God. There was another person in here saying that there was a belief to be the mother of Eric Trump or something. The first wife well, she passed away, but was there protecting Trump. Um, I would hope, I would want to believe that, but I truly believe that there was a divine spirit, within Trump yesterday at that rally. You can almost see it as he put his hand there. That was the hand of God that flicked that bullet out of his direction and saved President Trump. Because a millimeter second, I'm talking about a millimeter second. A millimeter second, guys, is like half of a second, a third of a second, if you guys want to get scientific with it. It's a half of a second. That's all it would have took if he would have turned his head the other way. And again, we would be having another conversation. But that's a hand of God, guys. It really is. It's time to pray for our country. It's time to pray for our president. It's time to pray that the madness and the violence and the domestic and foreign terrorism in this nation ends soon. I'd like it to end right now. I really do. I'd really like to take our fingers and snap our fingers and just let it end right now. And go to a country where there's no violence, there's no mayhem, and there's none of that. I really do. Welcome in, Ella. Thanks for grabbing a mic. How you doing? Go ahead, Ella. You there with us? Hey, Ella, I'm going to drop you down, and then bring you back up because I can't hear a word you're saying. Let me just drop you down and I'll give you another mic, okay? Um, I'm just doing some mic checks as we're going through this. Can anybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ella, one more time. Let's see if we can hear you a little bit better. Yeah, I can't hear her. Can you guys hear Ella at all or no?
I can't.
Okay, Ella, we can't hear you. We're going to drop you down and then I'll bring you right back up. All right. As Ella comes back in, give it a couple seconds for it to reset. And then, yeah, I see it. Okay. 1 second, Ella. I see you grabbing a mic. Okay. Go ahead, Ella. Let's try again. Yeah. Can anybody hear Ella at all? Croc on the losing end. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
I still
Okay,
can't.
Ella.
You gotta turn off your Bluetooth or something.
Yeah. Try turning off the Bluetooth, Ella, and then try coming back in. Sometimes that disturbs it.
Sorry guys, I had a filter on. Darn it. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you for hanging in there and good night all.
Yeah, not a problem. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, Ella. The floor is yours, ma'am. You can speak.
I got a hesitation. I'm sorry. Yeah. So thank you. Good evening guys. Yeah, there definitely was a hand of God on on that day there. The guy, firefighter that lost his life that was just behind Trump, as well as the other woman who got hit. It's definitely a hand of God on this fella, this man. So, I mean, I don't understand where the drones were, because there were people spotting this guy crawling on the roof. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, there was a lot of, I'll be quick, Croc. I know you kind of just came in real quick. There was a lot of, suspicious activity going on, yesterday there in Butler. A lot of, we mentioned, you guys have seen this. They've been playing it over and over, different outlets. a bystander yelling to Secret Service and others. There's a man on the roof. There's a man on a roof ignoring that. There was other issues with possibly somebody leaning down. I'm not sure if this shot was taken after they shot him or if it was before. We're still not getting a clear answer with that. So there's a lot of stuff to be questioned on just what happened. I'm calling it, and I'm giving my personal insert to it, with a lack to respond, of that, where, there was a delay, in responding to that, those
Well,
shots.
I definitely agree with that. There was a lag time there because once you heard the shots, there was more shots that went off. I think about 7 or 8 I counted. Watching the thing go down. They were slow to get up there. Then if you saw the behind the scenes, have y'all seen the behind the scenes where there was the Secret Service crawling down? They got down all of a sudden and then you heard the shots? I don't know about that either, but it's just, the drones should have been there watching and observing the roof and all areas. And I heard other like ex-CIA men talking about it, security, CIA men talking about that there's, this should have never happened.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You mentioned drone. Um, there were drones being used in the event. Drones are another form of technology that they're using to monitor the rallies. They use them very, very heavily now with a lot of these events that can see things that normal people can't see with even binoculars. So with these drones basically circulating the entire event. And I'm sure these drones were monitored by other agents and other local law enforcement and stuff in the area, constantly looking at the drones as it's being filmed. Where were the drones not, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. Where were the drones being flown, and why weren't the other drones not being flown in other areas, blind spots to possible areas of attack, meaning the shed that the perpetrator, the assailant, was at? Why wasn't that drone being flown over there in that blind spot? Why wasn't the activity not picked up there? So these are questions that we have to ask. I encourage people to not be afraid. If you see spaces, guys, with high political people, please don't be afraid. Use your First Amendment, because we're demanding answers. Because these are the questions that need to be asked, because if they don't get asked, sometimes they're overlooked and they're ignored, and we may never get the answers. So don't always be timid on questioning. I was actually in a very large space earlier today. A very, very large space. And I was questioning the same things that I'm doing right now in this space. Okay? And again, it's not about space size. I can care less. I can care less if I have just me talking to myself right now in a recorded space. I can care less. All I care is that the message gets out there. Okay? Whether there's 5, 6, 12, 20, 400, 4,000 of us in here. This is in recorded mode. So it will get out there. Okay? And people will hear my concern. And they will hear your concerns. Why was not enough being presented yesterday? Why? We demand. Well, we're still looking into it. That's not enough. We wouldn't be having this conversation if they were able to do their job accurately. The job was not carried out yesterday in Pennsylvania, meaning by Secret Service detail and FBI detail and local law enforcement. Because if it was carried out accurately and responsibly, we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we not? People need to be held accountable. I'm tired of people in high-end positions like what I'm explaining right now in this space not being held accountable. And another slap on the wrist. Because that's what's going to happen, is it not? Anyone that was scheduled and assigned those positions in that security detail yesterday in Pennsylvania, will they be held accountable? Ask that question. Demand that question. Or if they're not held accountable, will they get slapped on the wrist? Meaning, maybe a 7-day suspension, a month suspension without pay. That's not enough. You know why it's not enough? Because you can't replace life that was lost yesterday in that gentleman that lost his life in the stands. A suspension without pay towards those security detail members is not enough. That does not replace life that was lost. That does not replace damages of somebody that got bodily injured right next to that person as well. Along with our former president that was damn near assassinated yesterday in Pennsylvania, that got clipped in the ear, that almost by a millimeter second lost his life by a fucking maniac on the damn shed. And I'm going to land there because I think Ella has her hand up. Go ahead, Ella.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was the guy that took him out actually got fired. He went right to 4chan after the event, and he had his eye on the guy on the roof, Crooks, I believe, Thomas Crooks. He had his eye on him for 3 minutes and could not get the approval to get him.
So, wait, if I'm hearing you correctly, who got fired, you said? Because this is news. I didn't hear this news.
Oh yeah, I can probably go and pull up the stuff that I posted. Yeah, the guy that took him out, had him in his sights for over 3 minutes and was not able to shoot him because he couldn't get the okay. So they knew he was there. The two guys that were on the other roof had him in the sights. I need to go back, but he got fired because he supposedly took him out. Now that's what I read from X. So
all right. So people can understand this better. Okay. Sometimes it's okay to repeat things over and over so you can hear it accurately and clearly. So he took the shooter out. They fired him for taking him out. If that's what I heard correctly.
yeah, they took him out because he was watching him for over 3 minutes, they say. And he was trying to get the approval. And I don't believe he got the approval, and he did it anyway and supposedly was fired. I'm going back to find the so-called information where he went on 4chan after that and talked about getting fired, supposedly the guy that took him out. So let me go find that.
Yeah, I would also question why there was a delay in orders to make that shot to the shooter to take him out. Where was the delay? Why was there a delay? Was there communication tech issues between the headpiece between the Secret Service sniper and the officer that was making that order to that sniper to make that shot? That also we have to understand. Was it a tech issue with the headphones because they wear earpieces in their ears? Was there a communication issue? That I would like to understand a little bit more. Stuff that we have to clear out, right? So interesting stuff. as you know, you're going to see and hear more on social media, guys, with this. Also, too, it's something I have to address here. Uh, I I wouldn't encourage to make rapid assumptions or assertions towards that, but it doesn't hurt to question possible motives towards things that could have been avoidable, if that makes sense. So that's interesting that you brought that up, Ella. Are you? I'm not finding anything with the communication between uh, the agent or the officer that gave that command to that sniper to make that shot. Are you seeing any differently than I am? Or
Oh yeah. Oh, listen, I've seen it multiple times. I was trying to retrieve it. I haven't found it yet. But I've seen it multiple times that the sniper that took him out went to 4chan and said that he was like laid off because he didn't follow specific orders, is what it was saying over and over. I've seen it more than once. You know, again, initially, and this was like a little bit, you know, into the whole thing. I saw it today. You know, we also saw that it was this other guy, looked like an Italian, that had supposedly committed the act at first. You know, they were saying how he was a Republican carrying person, but he made a video just prior to this saying how much, you know, that this Thomas Cook, how much he hated the Republicans, and that, you know, he'd just watch and see what he was going to do. And then I also read that both his parents are licensed social workers and very conservative. And I don't see, you know, they also came out, his peers came out and said that he was bullied. And, you know, he must have harbored a lot of hate, poor kid, and I guess didn't get to explain what was going on. That's no excuse for what he did, but just saying there's so much that's going out right now. And like I said, I'm continuing to try to find that article, but that
yeah,
specific.
yeah. Here, another thing, guys, to understand is Ella, you're bringing that information into the space. Also, pay attention to some of videos coming out, especially that we live in an AI digital age of internet. There may be videos coming out, deep fakes, so to speak. I've noticed that there was a video that's here on X. It's in my timeline. I reposted it. Let me see if I can try to find it. Okay, here it is. Bill Elmore, if you guys are familiar with that account here on X, he posts a lot of things, and this is coming from his account handle with an individual that apparently put this out on X. Now, this is not the Bill Elmore. This is the account Bill Elmore put this out on X, but I guess he took it from another source, basically saying, I'll put it in the nest so you guys can see it. I'm not sure if you guys are understanding what I'm referring to. Basically saying, for everyone saying about the guy who tried to assassinate Trump, but he was a registered Republican. Do you think this guy was a Republican? Now, the guy I'm talking about in the video, there it is right there. The dude with the eyeglasses with the blue shirt, saying that the real guy that did it is not dead. The real guy that did it is still alive. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or if it's a fake. Did you see that video, Ella? It's going all over X here. But you
Yes,
got
and yes, I found what I was talking about too. Yes, I saw this and I commented on it twice, saying how sad this poor guy, this poor lost soul. He was a lost fella whose parents were both registered and licensed therapists. Then his peers came out and was talking and saying how this guy was bullied over and over and over every day. So this guy was a poor, lost individual that nobody gave a hooty hoot about. And I mean, it's sad, but it's not, it's not a reason to kill or do anything like that. But I'm just saying how sad this guy's life must have been, if this is actually true.
It's the mental illness, and I constantly talk about that on my podcast from time to time. Guys, if you're aware that I do conduct podcasts on a weekly basis on the Spotify network that my show is housed on, and I constantly go into mental illness on how we can avoid that in our nation. But yeah, good points you're bringing, Ella. Go ahead. Just chime on in. You don't have to put your hand up.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and look in the nest up there. There's Breaking with the Jonathan Willis, the officer and the famous. That's it. It's saying that he had his eyes on for 3 minutes. There it is.
Yeah, I seen it. Now that's the officer to the right, or is it to the left?
I believe it's to the left. The one on the left there.
Okay.
That's kneeling.
Now, when you mean by left, because obviously that picture is in mirror image. Mirror image would that be the mirror image on the right or the mirror image on the left?
The one that's kneeling, the guy that's kneeling, you see the one that's all the way to the left?
Okay, so not the one that's porching over, the one that's actually on his knees you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. So that was the individual that was placed on, was it administrative leave or is it administrative suspension?
From what it says, it looks like he says he was fired. So what that means, I don't know, whether they're going to review it or who knows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh. And this was actually, these two officers, if you look at the video, these two snipers that were on that rooftop were directly adjacent to where President Trump was sitting, or excuse me, standing on stage. If you look at the stage and you look towards the left, it was adjacent right to the stage, right to the side of the stage. Now,
Yeah.
what doesn't make sense is where the bullet was coming from. It was coming over the audience in front of President Trump. Now, I looked at other images, and the way they said where the assailant, where the shooter was behind the stage. Now, that doesn't make sense. Did you guys just pick up just what I just said there?
Yeah,
Let me
no,
repeat.
that's
Yeah,
what
let
I
me
was
repeat
saying.
that real quick, Ella. Let me repeat that real quick. The way the bullet was traveled, okay, where it traveled was it came over the audience in front of Trump and smacked him that way in the ear, clipped his ear. Well, it didn't clip it. It went right through the earlobe on the upper left, was it right? No, upper right earlobe, through it, pierced it, came right through, and then basically hit the, attendee that was sitting in the audience, directly right behind him. So it came over the audience in front of him. Okay. Now, the images that they're showing was that the perpetrator, the assailant, was behind the actual stands behind Trump. They showed that. Now, where did it really come from? Did it come from behind or did it come from in the front? it had to come in the front because that's how bullets travel, right? They don't. You guys understand what I'm saying there, right?
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
do. That's what I was saying before. I was asking, and then somebody was saying online and X that there might have been two shooters, but that, those Secret Service people were crawling, they were hunching down when they showed the behind just before they heard the gunshot. They say that you first feel it before you hear it, that it's a latent sound, Doppler effect. But yeah, they were squatting down and kind of flagging and moving their hands. It was really strange to watch the behind the scenes going on. So I don't know, Savage, what you're saying, kind of there's another question that needs to be answered.
Yeah, the illustration on what I'm seeing on a lot of outlets here. Okay. Um, and what I mean by outlets, guys, is when I check my sources, I check them on a lot of outlets, social media outlets, mainstream outlets, search engines. I'm constantly looking at sources, DuckDuckGo, Gibberoo, FreeSpoke, Google, all these search browsers. I'm literally conducting my own fact checking and I'm looking at different illustrations. The illustrations that I'm seeing on a lot of outlets are all similar. They're all the same illustrations. They're showing the illustration of a shed behind the audience stand that's behind Trump. Okay. But where the bullet is traveling is it's going in over the audience. Okay. That's standing in front of Trump and striking them that way. There's no illustrations that are showing a shed behind the front of the audience. There's no illustration showing that. So where was this assailant, this perpetrator, really at? That's what I'm asking. Was that a decoy of that image that we seen with that person on that shed that was behind the stands? Was that a decoy? Was that really the shooter, or was really the shooter at a different angle of what I just mentioned? It would have to be in the front, not the back, because if it was in the front, then somebody in the front of the audience would have been striked then. Somebody in front of Trump would have taken that bullet, not the person sitting on the stands behind him, right? The bullet traveled over the audience in front of him, not behind him. They're showing illustrations of a person kneeling on a shed behind the stands, but I'm not seeing any illustrations of a diagram of somebody either sitting on a rooftop in front or behind. I looked at that like probably 50 or 60 times, and I'm not seeing what they're saying. It just doesn't make sense. Go ahead, Ella.
Yeah, no, I just that was an accident, but I just want to say I don't. That's what I'm saying. Where did it come from? And you see it from the back. That's what I was saying. You see them from the back, and then you see these guys on this building, which was supposed to be, like you said, adjacent to the stand where everybody was at. So where did it come from? And was there more than one person? Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I noticed. Benny Johnson just put something out referring to the very same thing that I'm just mentioning right now. Similar, like why is the illustrations not being? Thank you. Wow! Instantly, as I just said that, I just posted that just right now. I noticed. So that's interesting. Like why they're not showing, or why they're showing that one angle, but they're really not showing the correct angle of where the line of that shot was that took place, right?
Yeah, it's not wide angle, is it? It's like very narrow.
The angle is almost at a 90-degree angle. Yeah, just about. So, um, I just put it, I'm just putting in the nest right now, guys, coming out from this X, account handle, United States of America with the flag emoji, with the blue check mark, guys. It just was posted right there in the nest. Federal investigators trying to learn more about the Trump rally shooter. We're being told by the name of Thomas Crooks, highly intelligent, excelled in advanced classes, during his high school, tenure when he was attending high school. Some classmates, former classmates in this video, being questioned by, local reporters there in the Pittsburgh area, basically saying that, he was a loner, uh, odd demeanor of a personality, meaning that, a little strange in particular, but really kind of kept to himself, you know? So, we're learning more a little bit about him. Of course, you look at the video as I'm commentating here, as I'm looking at Matthew and Mary Crooks, the parents of the shooter, obviously going to be questioned, I guess, by, federal agents. Um, didn't go away to college, actually enrolled in CCAC and mental health investigation. So I guess that's going to be put into play a little bit more with this. Um, a lot to learn. Also, I'm told that, one second, Ella. Also, I'm being told that, did not have any identification on him, uh, uh, during the time of that shooting. So they had to learn everything we're learning about him. They had to go through, blood DNA, to even ID him to begin with. So interesting stuff of why I guess he decided not to carry ID with him then. He didn't want to be ID'd. That was the main purpose, I guess. Go ahead, Ella.
Oh yeah, not only the ID thing, but they said that he drove a van, he walked a mile with the so-called AR-15, and a ladder, that he walked a mile. Some think that he was dropped off, but they showed a picture of them carrying off a van. Now, like you were saying, he had no ID, but he supposedly worked at an old folks home, too. He was like a CNA, a caretaker. Also, like they said, he was bullied the guy said he was like bullied all the time at school. But they also, on a Black Rock video that has now been taken down, surfaced with him in the first 15 seconds in class with Black Rock.
Yeah, what platform was that taken down?
That was taken down by Black Rock, but it was
Oh,
taken down
BlackRock
off of,
platform. Okay. So
yeah, but it was on X. I think you can still find it on X, but that was also brought forward. Yeah, he was a smart kid.
yeah, obviously the, video I was just commentating off of, with this United States of America, social media handle that posted that, with federal investigators, obviously trying to learn more about, the shooter himself, the family background of the parents, former classmates, basically presenting him as a loner, with odd personality, changes. So, just hearing that, obviously, there was some mental illness, that led to this, obviously. So, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Ella. Just chime right in. You don't have to put your hand up. It's just me and
No,
you
I'm
talking.
sorry. Again, I was just trying to say 100% I'm agreeing with you. I'm listening and totally agreeing with you. There was so much that come out. Like I said, they said that he had a van that he drove and carried that ladder over a mile. So that's even in question, is how was he dropped off or did he really take that van?
Yeah. That's a question too. Here's something that I notice Alex Jones putting in as I'm kind of reading it right now, as it's you know as I'm developing it and learning about it too as well. Uh, this is actually said by Alex Jones. If you go right to Alex Jones, you can catch the video on Infowars account or the actual Alex Jones account. If they kill Trump, they're going to come after Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and Elon Musk. Um, I told Elon to up his security, said by Alex Jones. Elon told a story about a recent security concerns yesterday. Police has caught the armed suspects twice in 2024 near Tesla HQ in Texas. It means none of us are safe on this earth, even Elon Musk's in danger. Now, what is he referring to? Obviously, if you caught that, guys, he's referencing the deep state. He's referencing
Yep.
Antifa members. Please understand, guys, that Antifa might not be showing a huge presence right now since the Summer of Love riots and all that other stuff that happened over the course of 2 to 3, 4 years now. But they're still around. And I'm also learning that the assailant, the perpetrator yesterday in Pennsylvania, was a member of Antifa. So we have to look into even that too. Um, is there more people that are also wanting to target other highly political figures, such as Musk and Tucker and Rogan, and including Alex Jones? Because there has to be a motive in connection to all this, is right? I mean, there has to be. A lot of people are questioning Ella that, was he a lone wolf? Did he have others around him? I'd like to understand that. Was he a lone wolf? Was there others working with him?
Well, that's where the Black Rock comes in, that people are suggesting that he was possibly groomed for this or groomed to be some sort of antagonist. And you're right. I did also hear that he was in several protests with Antifa movement.
Yeah, yeah. There was an arrest at an anti Trump Trump rally. I believe it was last year. I put a video out. Let me go get that video again to show you guys what I'm talking about. The hell's it at? I posted a lot of stuff. Bear with me. Okay, here it is, right here. Well, it's on a video. It's actually from WTAE.com. I'll put it up in the nest. You guys can go right to that link and check it out. An article coming out, a local article coming out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Credit from WTAE.com from obviously last year. Judge sends Pittsburgh Trump protesters to jail with the shooter that was gunned down yesterday by Secret Service, including somebody that was obviously connected to the shooter. Where also too, I hope that the FBI and Secret Service is going to question the other individual that was in connection with this shooter, because there's connection here that was actually led to a 2023 jail sentence for both of these individuals. Did you see that, Ella?
I did. I saw that, and that's what I was saying, that he had been charged before, not only with that, but like you said, the Antifa movement. There was, I believe, a couple of disturbances that he was admitted or was, observed in, and taking and participating in stuff like BlackRock. There was a bunch of stuff talked about that. I did see this article that you posted. I believe it was yours that I had seen. Yeah.
Actually, let me correct that. It wasn't last year. It was actually in 2017. So yeah, it was about 7 years ago. But it is relevant to what I'm talking about, because, these two individuals, that are pictured, one of the shooter that was, gunned down yesterday at the rally, um, was basically, they pleaded guilty, towards charges of aggravated assault, with that anti-Trump rally. That was back in
Yeah,
2017. That was when he was
absolutely.
still actually that's actually when he was president during that time, a year into his presidency. So, this also has to be looked as possibly a plot, uh, years of a plot. Now, guys, I'm making assumptions. I'm not making factual, evidence. Okay. I have to say that in here. Okay. These are assumptions because I'm going back at all connections that I'm finding on the internet connected to this gentleman. Okay. With other people that were connected to him, of possibly a plot towards what happened yesterday. Okay. Cause you can look at that. That was dated in April of 2017. So these are things that when people are bringing things up, these are the articles that will lead up to that, possibly, of what led up to yesterday, you know? So, I just wanted to, like I said, guys, I wanted to do this little emergency broadcast because, obviously, everything that we're hearing now on social media, including these spaces, some of it, we're hearing for the first time, depending on your news sources of what you're hearing, what you're, getting from different outlets, media outlets, including spaces too. Some of it may be fresh in the news. Some of it may be old, depending on how we're receiving it. Uh, that article I seen there in 2017, Ella, like I said, I found that actually on DuckDuckGo. So a lot of stuff that I'm seeing, like older articles, connected to the shooter, is actually, I'm finding more, older information linked to him on DuckDuckGo rather than Google. So, again, guys, I encourage you guys to go on to other search engines, as you will see others, uh, airing the information. Most of the stuff, like you just mentioned, Ella, is being taken down, by Google, including certain, outlets, like Instagram, Facebook. I noticed some stuff being taken down on TikTok. Uh, uh, I'm not sure. Is it being affected on Twitter at all? Have you noticed anything being taken down on Twitter?
I'm actually looking for the BlackRock video as we speak, so I haven't been able to find that one on Twitter yet, but I use DuckDuckGo and Brave together a lot because of the uncensorship, because of the censorship deal.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, we're gonna close it out here. I wasn't gonna intend to keep this space lengthy, but I noticed we had some people that joined in, and some people that wanted to weigh in some concerns, and comments and everything, and I appreciate that. Also appreciate people that stuck around as listeners. Thank you very much, Dark, Phoenix, Sophia. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ella, for joining in, including the other speakers we had today. I always give hat tips and appreciation to people that come in because I want to learn more about what's going on because you may know more information than I do. We're trying to get to the bottom of just what the hell happened yesterday in Pennsylvania, what led to it. And it will be revealed. It's going to take some time. Obviously, it's an investigation, guys. It's a crime investigation now to a, attempted assassination of a former president. It should be looked at a serious note. And I expect it to be looked at as a serious note. We haven't had a conversation like this since the 80s towards Reagan and shortly before that with JFK. So this needs to be looked at more, and I hope to have the FBI and other agencies air us the information as it comes across. So, guys, I'm getting a little broken up with words because I'm still in shock of what happened just yesterday. So I want to leave it at that. I want to bless everybody here in this space. I want to say a quick little prayer, and then if it's okay with you guys, I'm not religious, guys, but I'm highly spiritual. Okay, I've become more spiritual now more than ever since the rise of domestic terrorism on our homeland. Okay, so I want to pray to everyone here in the space. I want to pray to the ones that are listening in. I want to pray to the people that are going to listen to the recorded space after we close out here. I pray for your safety. I pray for your just your life, your family, everything around you, your workplace. I pray for everyone around you to be safe in very difficult and tough times in our nation. Okay, please, wherever you go, please go with people that you trust. Always look around your surroundings. Because we are going through some really, really dark times as a nation. You never know when that time comes, and please, the blessings be. Thank you very much for coming in, and God bless America, and God bless President Trump, and please keep him in his protection through the good Lord. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.